Hello, my name is Alondra Ruiz, and I am doing a response video to Samuel where he claimed that Donald Trump is better for national security as opposed to Kamala Harris. I think that Kamala Harris is better. Starting off, she was the California Attorney General and a U.S. Senator, and now, of course, our Vice President. I think this gives her a crucial understanding of domestic and international relations. In your video, you mentioned how Donald Trump put a heavy emphasis on military spending and how this was very important for the country. Of course, there was a lot of benefits to his military spending. There is the creation of the United States Space Force. There was emphasis on newer technologies, cyberfare, and focusing on that. This military spending was important, but the extent to which he did it was almost unnecessary. We were spending to the point where United States was number one in military spending in comparison to the next 10 countries below, which is I don't want to say too much because of course military spending is important, but it's not the extent to which we needed it as a country. Kamala Harris emphasizes how not everything needs to have a reliance on the military. The military is so complex, and we need to address underlying issues when addressing national security, and it's not just about using brute force. Another thing was in Donald Trump's foreign affairs was his America First policy. This emphasized national sovereignty and the need for more secure borders. Of course, in a general lens, these are obviously important in any foreign affairs or national security issues, but the way it goes back to the way that he does these things. The Muslim travel ban, which caused a lot of disrupt in Muslim lives and Muslim social lives, and how they were being treated in the country, and how they were being forced to seek refuge in other countries because of the travel ban. Another one was the U.S.-Mexico border, where Donald Trump said that he was gonna force Mexico to pay for the border, a bigger and more secure border, when in reality, by the end of his presidency, there was less than 3% of the border actually built. We heard that in the vice presidential debate that happened, just a few days ago. Again, I'm sorry. This goes back to the idea that you can't just use brute force. You can't just go about an issue face first at surface level. Kamala Harris goes into detail about this in her foreign affairs agenda, or her policy on her website. She describes how these issues have isolated, or she does not want to isolate the United States. It's an emphasis on partnerships and allies. We saw Donald Trump pull out of the Paris Climate Accord, while Kamala Harris wants to lean into the climate issue alongside other countries and creating these allies, creating these partnerships. She aims to, again, address climate change as well as economic instability. It is known that if the United States is suffering economically, then a lot of other countries are suffering economically because of how intertwined it is. We saw this throughout the class that we took. Again, national security is such a complex issue. Donald Trump has a tendency to go about these issues face front, addressing them at surface level, whereas Kamala would have the means to go about these issues while having the complex mindset of you can't just throw money at it. You can't just throw the military at it. You need to go into these underlying issues and really get at the root cause of what's going on. There's a recognition that these factors, and not addressing these factors, can lead to increased violence and unrest. We see this through guerrilla warfare. We see this through instability in countries because change is not addressed where it needs to be. True national security is multifaceted. Harris offers a balanced approach, which is absolutely needed. The idea of creating more partnerships and allies and balancing forces is something that Kamala Harris aims to do, and something that Donald Trump has not been able to do. breaks ties, Harris mends them. Again, national security is such a complex issue. It's much more than what we see, and it's more at what we not see in the root cause, or the root causes that are there. Which is why I think Kamala Harris is better for national security as opposed to Donald Trump. Thank you.